Okay, in the back, can you hear it? Great. Okay. Well, then we'll kick off the breakout from the protein community and the upcycling community. And it's a special day today. Thank you for being here in the week of the circularity. You will talk more about that. And this is a combined session for the protein community members and the upcycling community members. And I would like to welcome both of the partners of the communities. Also the people who are attending online, welcome to you. And also some of the network partners who asked us to be here today in this community session. So also welcome to you. My name is Leo Koning. I'm the manager of the protein community. And next to me, Caroline Dijvenvoorde. She's the manager of the upcycling community.
Nice to meet you all.
Great to do this together with you and the whole team. So, and it's nice that you are wearing all these headsets. And 10 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago, I thought, hey, but this reminds me of, I think 40 years ago, when, maybe 45, about 40, when I was a DJ in the weekends, 3-4 nights a week. But then, well, the people, of course, did not wear headsets, but I tried to motivate them to dance. And maybe later today, you can do the dancing, but for the next hour, we will not do that. So just maybe if you want to move, you can do it with the drinks. Maybe we can have some music, because after 5, we are ready to pump up the volume. So this is the kickoff for that session. And now, of course, to be serious, we want to inspire you with cases from 4 great keynote speakers. We will also have a panel session where you can ask your questions. So that will be after the presenters. So also for the online people, if you have questions to ask to the speakers, please put them in the chat. Miriam and Suzanne, where are you? Suzanne is sitting there. She is the moderator for the online session. If you have a question later during the panel, just raise your arm and we will come to you. If you're online, also put up your arm, but also type in the question into the chat, because then we know what you want to ask, and I will go to Suzanne and to hear what you want to know. And the session will be recorded, as you can see. So all the partners of the community, you will get the slides, but also the video recording via our online channel, Foodlip.
Thank you, Leo. Wonderful start. And of course, a lot of you also joined the tour in the Plus Ultra 2 building today. How was that? That was a moment to walk and to move, but also to get to know 2 partners of Foodvalley in this building. And that you already made some first connections, new points of contacts there. Yeah, I see nodding. So there were some nice follow-up conversations based on those meetings. That's great to hear. Of course, good to also do that during the Drinks and Bites, the circular Drinks and Bites, because it's this week, the week of the circular economy in the Netherlands. And we're super happy to have today a session, a combined protein and upcycling community session. And various of the partners of the upcycling community prepared tasty food and drink opportunities. So at 5, we invite you here to taste that and to also make connections there with all our upcycling partners. Already a lot of thanks to, of course, all of you in the room who contribute to that. Pachita Cacao, Green Covery, Green Spot Technologies, Marie Creations, Cafe Inc. and Saledo, even from Turkey here today. So special welcome for you, Pinar.
Okay, well, we will just zoom in a little bit to the communities, just 1 minute for the people who are not partner of, for instance, the protein community. Well, what we are doing with the 150 partners that we have is many things. You can see 3 days ago, for instance, we did a celebration together with the person on the picture. Does anybody know her? Yeah, Jora? Isabel Boerdam, exactly. And she is the founder of the Hippe Vegetariër, but also from the Week Without Meat. And this is also already an international event that she is, let's say, organizing together with her team. And the Gouden Boon, the Golden Bean Award, is a personal award for people who are really dedicated to the protein transition. And we want to put them in the spotlight because normally they are working very hard, helping all of you and also the other partners to make it happen. So to make more impact with new protein transition products and applications. And the other thing, I still have 1 second. I see on the middle is the map. This is the protein transition map of the Netherlands. We launched it exactly a year ago. Now with over 520 companies and organizations in the Netherlands that you can click on and that you can make an appointment. So if you want to know more about other companies and work together, just use this online map, Protein Transition Map NL, to do so.
A nice invitation to all of you. And I think also today we have the two communities together. So we really want to get to know each other better. We can do that via the protein map. You can also use the QR that we present here via the screen. Then you go to the Foodleap page where you can see all the partners that are part of both of the communities. Today, for the upcycling community, we will also provide you with a handout with a partner booklet. So in the partner booklet, that's a new product for communities. All companies that delivered information about their organization and their product, and also what they expect from the upcycling community and what they can bring. Present that in the partner booklet. There is a demo version available. Our colleague Miriam is showing you this. Take a look at it and please reach out to the contact persons in there to have a further conversation. Moreover, it's nice to mention that there will also be an international map for upcycling partners being developed this year as part of a collaboration with the Danish partner, Danish Technology Institute in Denmark. That's a project about upcycling. So soon we will also be able to present you a European map of partners. And that makes it more easy, because it's available via Foodleap, to find each other and to start also conversations digitally.
Yeah, and last year, actually, we were here, but we will tell more about it later. Maybe first do some interaction with the attendees.
Yes, so we would like to invite you to use your mobile phone for this opportunity and scan the QR. Yeah. And we have a first question that will be presented to you about what you would think is relevant for both perspectives, so working on alternative proteins and working towards the use of more side streams in food. And that comes together today, of course, but is also continuously important to work on for Foodvalley in an integral way. So please share topics, themes, opportunities, but also conditions for further collaborations via this
we just go back to the slides.
We would like to take you back in time.
Very briefly, over 2 years ago, it was on the 3rd floor in the left corner. We had a great session also together with the upcycling and protein community members. And I don't know if you remember it, but you see on the back on the screen there's also a picture, but it's basically the same visual as we have created today. We want to zoom in. You will also have this visual on your seat, so you can take it home, and you can also, if you want to have it digitally, ask us. And we really think when you start thinking in this way of innovating your products, it can really be helpful. So it is a tool basically that we think you can use in your product innovation. So it's a follow-up from 2 years ago, but this is the new version, Caroline.
Yes,
Can you
so
explain?
for everybody who has like good eyes or good glasses, it's a game of finding the differences. But the fun thing is that compared to 2 years ago when we made the first version of this visual, the idea was, our idea was to inspire everyone to talk about new product development based on sources for alternative proteins and also upcycled ingredients as a source. And we had some nice co-creation workshops and so on, so that was really inspiring, but still quite broad. And we now are 2 years later, and in both of our communities, you, our partner, gave us valuable insights about what are relevant topics for you. And fibers is in both of the communities a topic that is of high interest because of various reasons. Of course, the type of sources that are used for alternative proteins and upcycled ingredients, sources from the production of alternative protein productions, but also plant-based sources that are used for upcycled ingredients. And there are also specific product development innovations that are making use of side streams high in fiber from other food industry categories. For example, the brewer spent grains from the brewery. Take a closer look at a later moment to see all those nice examples. What we want to actually realize with this visual is that it's a conversation starter and that it's also in different initiatives that we run as Foodvalley, varying from redesign food for value to plant protein forward to upcycled for food initiative, a good starting point to look at and to find each other as a provider of a side stream, as a provider of ingredients, as a food manufacturer, but also in the direction of organizations that are close to the consumer, of course. I think for now enough about this visual, but a good call to action to announce upcoming actions from our side to further involve you in this. Various partners already shared some ingredients that you develop or produce with us. We shared a survey earlier this month via the newsletters of both of the communities, where we asked you, okay, what type of products do you produce? What's the share of fibers in there? What's the source of those ingredients? And also what type of applications would be relevant to integrate those ingredients in as an alternative for an existing ingredient. All this relevant information we collected, and here you see a small selection of results. We just made a nice variation in type of sources, that it's not all the same type of source or not all the same type of ingredient. But this is, for us, input for a follow-up session. So we would like to invite you, for those of you who did not yet share their, yes, please use this QR and add your ingredients via the survey, because there is a nice session coming up.
Yeah, actually it will be already in a month's time. So we can then share the outcome of all your products and ingredients. And for you who want to discuss it in more detail, you can register for the session on the 15th of April. And it will be an online-only session for more than 1 hour. And we hope you all can join if you are at least interested in getting more fibers into your product.
We will also share this QR, of course, later on with the partners again to register, and you will receive an invitation. But if you would like, you can already register now via the Eventbrite form.
Exactly. So this was our introduction.
Yes. So thank you, of course, for your time and all your attention. We have 4 wonderful speakers coming up, so we would like to give you the floor. Please keep an eye on your questions that you want to raise, because there will be a nice panel discussion as well with all 4 of the speakers, where you can also share your questions, your thoughts and comments.
So just keep your questions in your head or write them down, and we'll get back after the 4 presentations. Emma, you have already presented, so join the stage if you want to, because you are the first of the 4 to kick off. 10-minute time, so it's a bit, well, shorter, but I think, as we know, you have created also a nice deep dive into fibers, upcycling and proteins.
Yep.
So I hope you're all ready for you. Success, Emma.
Caroline, can I have the clicker? Thank you. Welcome, everyone. This presentation follows on from the previous session I looked at. So this one looks at the challenges and opportunities for upcycled fibres, specifically in the meat alternative sector. So now a quick Mentimeter. If you're able to add that code into the website that was previously available through the QR code, it should say the top 3 words that you associate with fibre. I hope that will come up. If not, no, okay, we'll have a look at that later. Oops. Right, so to start off then, so what's going on in the meat substitutes category? So this is an area that's seen rather a lot of quite interesting NPD over recent years. We have seen a lot of innovation. Some of it has started to level off a bit now due to challenges around things like taste and price. But what we've seen in the meat substitute sector in Europe is quite an interesting transition of the types of claim used. One looks at the crossover from vegan to vegetarian, and the other one looks at the different claims linked to nutrition. So you can see over the last 10 years, per the red column, the percentage of launches featuring a protein claim has increased quite significantly from around 14% to almost 50%. So we know that there has been lots and lots of promotion of protein in the plant-based and meat substitute sectors. Now, by contrast, in the orange line, you can see around 10% of launches in this sector in Europe feature a higher added fibre claim, but that hasn't changed significantly at all over the last 10 years. In terms of nutrition, this is now taken from the nutrition panel. Again, all of this information is from our GMPD ingredients database. Again, you can see that the amount of protein, which is the purple column in meat substitutes, this is taken from, yes, the nutrition table, has not changed much, and neither has the amount of fibre in the launches. Actually, the nutrition of these products has stayed relatively static, though the carbohydrates has jumped around a bit. So what these says is that the claim trend here isn't necessarily linked to reformulation, it's linked to a change in the communication. We've seen lots and lots going on with protein. It's become very, very trendy. We've seen a surge of plant protein, source of high in proteins, new types of proteins being used in, say, snack bars, dairy and meat alternatives. And as yet, we haven't seen the same focus on fibre. So as yet, we know that the food and drink industry has decided to focus on protein in meat subs over and above fibre, at least where claim trends are concerned. Now, this here shows the average amount of fibre in European meat substitutes, and it's broken down by the quantity according to the EU claim for a source of fibre and a high fibre. So you can see that at the present time, and also for the last 10 years, between 1 in 5, even 1 in 4 launches could feature a high or a high fibre claim. That's according to the EU claim definition. And around another half of products could feature a source of fibre claim. So fibre is underused at the present time in launches because there could be a lot more promoting fibre in this category than is taking place at the present time. So in some respects, it is a big missed opportunity for producers. Where we do see fibre being stated on pack, we see it tends to take a back seat by comparison to protein, and usually by comparison to other attributes or health and nutrition claims that are interesting to consumers. You can see this product here, the Vivera Thai Protein Bites. It mentions protein in the title, and it also mentions a 20 gram of protein claim on the top right. But even though it is a high in fibre product, that's only stated on the back of pack. Quorn here is a brand that has started to put fibre and protein on the front of pack. And then the other product to the left of the screen has 6.4 grams of fibre, but again, that's only stated to the back of pack. So fibre at the present time isn't really pushed out as much as it could be in launches. Possibly one of the reasons for that is because meat alternatives, at least the recent flurry of them, is quite new to consumers. Many consumers haven't grown up with these products being a normal part of their diet. And the attributes consumers likely associate with the conventional categories, the conventional protein categories, is protein. So many people would look to meat and dairy products, the animal source poultry, meat, eggs, milk, as being a good source of protein. So is it the case that the reason that we've seen protein promoted more in these plant-based alternatives is due to this? We see that around 21% of consumers in the UK say protein would encourage them to buy a meat sub, whereas a much lower percentage of consumers say fibre would. So perhaps we need to start thinking about challenging consumers' perceptions of what nutrients they expect to find in these categories, especially as many consumers will possibly be looking for the same nutrition in plant-based meats as the conventional product from an animal. In terms of top categories for upcycling now, so the total number of launches that features an upcycle claim or mentions upcycling on pack is very, very low. And where we do see these launches, this is upcycled launches, the top categories are bakery, snacks, and sauces and seasonings. As yet, the subject of upcycling hasn't really entered the meat categories, either conventional or plant-based, in any significant way. We are starting to see some launches trickle through. These are both from Switzerland, and one discusses the use of okara in it. So that one claims to be 36% upcycled okara, which they discuss as being a byproduct from a production of soy products like tofu. And then the product on the other side of the screen claims to be 34% barley malt grains. So in addition to soy pulp, which is sometimes called okara, we also see a lot of upcycled innovations using spent grains. At this point in time, quite a few of those are in the snack bars category. So we are starting to see the topic of upcycling enter the meat substitutes category. In terms of what consumers are most likely to link with upcycle claims, it's at the present time, there are probably too few launches to say too much about that. But what we do see is that the top claims in launches that are upcycled, as they claim to be on pack, they're related to the environment, to things like naturalness, and also to some of the more trendier diet plans, such as organic, gluten-free, and vegan. Only 6% of upcycled launches feature a higher added fibre claim, and only 5% feature a higher added protein claim. So where upcycling is being used, they're not necessarily communicating nutrition in any significant way. Consumers do show an interest in upcycling in food and drink. Per my previous presentation, it's often aspirational or theoretical, based on the fact that other factors, namely taste and price for the mass market, are right. But we see that consumers say that they would be interested in, between 1 in 3 to 1 in 4, in upcycled ingredients in categories like ice cream, yogurts, or condiments. Upcycling does need to not contribute the attributes of taste and price. So a similar set of data to my previous presentation. This now looks at why people don't choose products with sustainability claims. Upcycling is obviously very related to sustainability. Biggest factor here is that they're too expensive, so many consumers are price sensitive. That's a very important attribute for the mass market. There's also this link back to consumers' habit. Many consumers are creatures of habit. They don't necessarily want to change their eating habits and what they buy every week, not necessarily going to just buy a product because it's new or exciting. So around 30% of consumers say they just prefer the products that they're used to. It does beg the question as to whether all upcycled launches need to be flagged as such. Can upcycled ingredients, the same as fibre, be covert in the same way that lots of sugar and salt reduction initiatives are covert? Because it helps to avoid the challenges such as consumers being put off buying a product because they think the recipe's changed, it contains ingredients they don't like the sound of, etc. So there is a case for covert with both fibre and the use of upcycled ingredients. This data here is taken from our purchase intelligence tool, and it shows consumers' actual comments on a product. So the product on screen is very overtly branded as upcycled. It's called Second Chances, got the word upcycled on pack. A couple of consumers, and these are US consumers, they respond positively. So a female aged 55 plus says she doesn't care if it's perfect, taste is what matters. Another one says it's good and fun looking. However, there's a male there that says he loves mango, but Second Chances is ambiguous. The arrow line looks like a digestive tract, and what the heck is upcycled anyway? And a female here thinks the wording on pack is virtue signaling. Another female says Second Chance foods doesn't sound appetizing, sounds like someone already tried to eat them and use them, and then they're being resold. So sometimes these very trendy claims don't necessarily hold broad appeal. They can even resonate negatively with consumers. So key takeaways, fibre is unexplored in protein alternatives, be it by ingredient choice and definitely by claims and the way it's promoted, or not very promoted at the present time. Upcycling is definitely an emerging trend. There are questions about how much of it needs to be overtly promoted to consumers and how much can go down the covert route, like we've seen with salt and sugar reduction. And then consider the target consumer, because trendy things only appeal to a limited percentage of the population. Many people could actually be deterred from anything that's sort of too green, clean, and nutritious. And that's all from me. I'll hand back over.
But you will be later available to ask questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Emma. And we will continue because we are a bit out of time with the next speaker. His name is Paul van Santen. Please join me on the stage. And when you look at his jacket, what do you see? Turn around. The bean, exactly. He was, I think, 24, number 25. Isabel was number 31, who has been awarded with the Golden Bean.
No idea.
No idea.
No idea, sorry.
But okay. You are sales manager at Invea.
Yes.
And you also do something in a project that we started, Plant Protein Forward. So you're really active with Invea in innovating and healthy and also plant-based proteins. So I'm really excited that you're here, Paul. I want to give you the clicker. Okay. You have a headset? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes for you.
Okay, thank you. I hope everybody can hear me properly, because I cannot. A short introduction for Invea. Our core business is processing raw materials, plant-based materials, of course, coming from lupine, soy, chickpea, other beans, into ingredient solutions for animal nutrition, food industry, health and nutrition. Our core business is lupine and soy. That's also what we do for many, many years. And that's also what brings us today here, is partly we're in the protein community because of the proteins, the plant-based proteins. But I think also we have a nice link with the upcycle community, because part of our process, we keep the hulls from the beans when we dehull, and we upcycle them into ingredients as well. And then we talk about natural fibers. Like I said, when we do the toasting of the bean to make a toasted product, during the process, the hull, the outer shell, let's call it like this, from the bean will come off. This we catch by a sort of a vacuum, let's say. It's kept in a separate part of our process. And before, it was mainly going to the animal nutrition, but I think since a couple of years, it's also being widely used in bakery industry. And the reason why I'm here today is to present to you how easy it can be to work with natural fibers in recipes. So maybe to challenge you also to work with these kind of fibers as a potential ingredient to increase the fiber content in your recipes. From my point of view, the company's point of view, the importance of fibers from lupin and soy, I think everybody knows lupin and soy as a protein isolate, protein concentrate, flour for bakery, or using plant-based dairy. But it's also really interesting for its fiber because the outer shell, the hull of the bean, consists out of more than 90% of fiber, pure fiber, and it's also natural, clean label fiber. Like I said, it's widely used in animal nutrition, pet food, bakery, but I think we all together have work to do to develop the coming years more products with these plant-based and natural fibers in recipes. I will give you an example later in the presentation what we did on our R&D team to give you a hint. It's also a cost-effective way of adding fibers to a recipe because normally, like I said, these fibers are kept separately. They would go, for example, to animal nutrition or the feed industry. But I think it's a really good opportunity to use in food industry because of the simplicity, the labeling, the sustainability, because we also process, for example, Dutch crops of lupin into ingredients. And how could it be if you have a Dutch product with local fibers in your product? The benefits, I think, we've seen this throughout the whole afternoon already, so I don't want to dive in too much of detail. But I think we're all aware of the importance of fibers. Then I go to the functional properties. Lupin and soy fibers can absorb water, improve texture. You can use it, for example, in plant-based burgers. You can use it in all kinds of plant-based applications where you replace a part of fully meat. Regarding the gel formulation, a side note, the lupin fibers and soy fibers, they're not fully soluble. They consist about partly soluble and partly insoluble fibers. Regarding fat replacement, it's used to work in low-calorie products, such as bakery and meat, to mimic the fat part and also, of course, enrich the product with fibers. And what we see, for example, during our R&D sessions lately, we made a recipe, we mimicked a Wasa type of cracker, and we went from a Nutri-Score B or C to a Nutri-Score A to just switch with a lot of ingredients, or part of the ingredients, and add fibers. So that's a signal that fibers could be definitely a good impact on the Nutri-Score. This is the recipe I choose to show you today. It's because it ticks two boxes. One side is the protein part, the other side is the fiber part and also the upcycle part. We made a wrap. It's a protein wrap. It's an alternative for the ones in the market now, where we used lupin protein concentrate to boost the protein content of the wrap. And we used lupin fiber, so the outer fiber, the shell from the bean, we grind into flour. We used it together with the other ingredients to boost the fiber content. In this case, you can say the wrap is rich in protein and rich in fiber. So you tick two goals. And if you are interested in more recipes with fiber enrichment or protein enrichment, you can have a look on our website. And that was in a nutshell my presentation. If you have questions, as said before, we save them for later, and then happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you.
And this is also the moment for Carlos to tell us more about the sites from Okara.
Super, thank you.
8 minutes.
Oh. Hello everyone, so can you hear me well? Super. So my name is Carlos, I'm the founder of Green Corby. Happy to be here. Last year we did a smaller event for the Week of the Circular Economy, which we were super excited with, and I'm really happy to see that this year a bigger event as well, organized by Foodvalley, so thanks a lot for that. So we are upcycling ingredients from food companies, and I'm really happy that we are focusing on fiber today, because it's not only from the nutrition part, it's not only from being good for you, for our health, but also something that I want you to take out from today is it's also really important for really valorizing our food waste. So without valorizing the fiber, it's going to be really difficult. So that's why a little bit, I think this is a nice match on how to bring these two things together, not only from the consumer side, from the health, but also simply from the business case of making more value from our food waste. So, like I said, so we are Green Corby, so we are upcycling ingredients from food companies' side streams. And today, I want to take you from different stages. So why are we doing this? To how are we doing it? And what we need from you guys so we can work together. To some examples to hopefully get you inspired, that at the end of the day, we can think about options to not only use the upcycled ingredients, but also of sources that you think could be interesting to explore. So let's start to why are we doing this. So food waste is huge. Probably you have seen this before. So it's the third emitter if food waste would be a country. It's not only from one source, so this is really from different type of sources, but we have to do something about it. I don't know about you, but it drives me crazy to see this. You know, from one hand, we're putting a lot of effort to produce food, and from the other side, we're just throwing it away. And it's nice to see that some changes are coming. So the European Commission just started to put this as the next remark that we have to aim for this on 2030, that we have to reduce by 30% food loss on the consumer level. But more interesting for what we're doing as Green Corby is there also the set mark of reducing by 10% what is being produced in the manufacturing and the processing of our food. Because that's where we are really focusing. We focus to recover ingredients together with our partners and to enable being upcycling ingredients the norm. And that means partner with the food industry to generate more value from what at this moment is just going to waste or to animal feed, to really to create more value there and back into the human consumption. So how we do this? We do it we have a unique separation technology, and we use that technology. I would not go into details, but mainly what I want you to keep in mind is it's all about taste and functionality. So what we really focus is we make 3 fractions. One fraction is focusing on the flavors or off flavors you want to get rid of. The other fraction is on the protein. So it's a nice link between the 2 groups that are sitting here today. And the other fraction is fibers or fat, depends on the side streams. So I will show you some examples later of how that looks for the different applications. Just to inspire you as well of, maybe you can think of something that you have in this moment, a side stream that you think, oh, maybe it's interesting to explore how we do this. So we take step by step. The first step is always figuring out if there's a business case. So how would our technology would work, how the market will react to it, and is there a potential on the functionality of these ingredients. The second step is typically we will look into how the market will create more sample, test it with different partners, testing applications. So today you also try some of our applications, you will try it later. So that's the second step. And the third step is that we can start production already with our partners to really test that market and get that market validation. And that typically helps a lot to get that business case really moving on. Okay, so coming back to the cases. So basically for today, I'm going to present you 3 main cases. So the first case, and that's the samples you will be trying, is for Okada. The second case I want to focus as well is in cocoa and coffees and shells and skins. And the third case is the first case that actually we started with, which is this Parmigiano rinds. I'm not going to make a lot of emphasis there, but mainly, let's start with that one because it's the simplest one for today. Mainly there, we're focusing on creating a flavor, a Parmigiano flavor, a fat, and a protein. I'm not focusing there because clearly there's no fiber there. So, but just to give you an idea, so typically we have these 3 fractions, but I want to make emphasis in the other 2 because with the other two, we mainly have two big fractions, which is the proteins and the fibers. But if you think about it, typically, so we always started looking at the business case from the protein perspective, but it's only 10 to 20% of the total stream. So the rest is mainly 60 to 70% of fibers. And then that's where, for us, it became really clear that to make, to really reduce food loss and make an impact, we really have to find the functionality and keep the functionality and the good aspect of these fibers. In the first case, I will focus that a little bit into the cases that we have today for Okara. That's been mainly on the color, water holding capacity, and taste. In cocoa, just for you to know, so there's mainly what we have been focusing a lot is, of course, the cocoa or coffee flavor. That helps already, so especially nowadays with the cost of these products, but as well the antioxidant activity. So that's also something that we're always looking at. What is the functionality? What's that angle that this fiber can have into the market? So just briefly about Okara. So Okara is the side stream from soy milk or tofu producer. So you can imagine that we buy the liquid. There's after it's been pressed. And then the press leftover is what is rich in proteins and fibers. It's typically or being used for biogas. A lot of companies are trying to make the switch to having for animal feed. But the main challenge there is that it has a lot of water and it's a huge volume. So it has to be produced or treated in place as soon as possible. And it's rich in fibers and proteins. The volumes is growing. The production of tofu and plant-based milk are growing a lot. And yeah, we have been working with different partners, and then we see that this is a huge potential to valorize, not only for the protein, but also for the fiber. Just to give an idea of the products we're making there, for the protein, it has been a really good emulsifier. You can see here that this is a omelette made just with 4 ingredients, in which our protein is the main ingredient there, but also as a stabilizer of the coffee, barista, oat milk, and soy milk. But like I said, so for the Okara case, the Okara protein is only 10% of the total stream. And fiber is 60 to 70%. And fiber is really like, if you think about from the business case perspective and food loss reduction, is the one that has to make the difference. Luckily for us, the fiber also has a really good potential, has a really good water holding capacity, and the color is great. So you can see here, there's a bread, which is high in fiber, just a white bread. Also taste, since taste has been removed, you can barely feel it, but also we have used it in spreads. So yeah, like I said, so we do it in different food applications, and today, just to finish, because I have 2 minutes left, so today we have 3 applications actually you can try. Here I'm just highlighting 2. So we have the Okara Expeditious. Here is really about the thickening agent and having a nutritious spread. And the Okara cake, in that one, we are reducing 50% the total fat. And you have a cake that is enriched in fiber and still have the indulgence that typical cakes will have. So yeah, I'm happy to have the discussion with you and to discuss further. Hopefully it inspires a little bit to keep the conversation going. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carlos. And of course, we had already a speaker from the UK, but I think the next speaker is also, let's say, has been traveling quite a lot today, because Paul de Vos, he is coming from Groningen, like Mark, AVB, you are a colleague, I don't know where she is. So I'm very happy that you're here. I have looked at your LinkedIn profile and I just want to share it before you kick off your presentation, because you are here in your role as program director of the Fascinating program, of course, but you are already, I think, almost 20 years a full professor at the University of Groningen, internationally recognized scientist with a distinguished career in immunology, biomaterials and metabolic health. So I'm very happy that you're here today, and you are going to talk about what the program, the Fascinating program, can do in fibers, collaborations, proteins, etc. So, Paul, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so actually today I'm here as a representative of the Fascinating program, which is a huge program. We just got another 20 million euros for actually changing the whole agriculture system in the Netherlands. It's now still very focused on the province of Groningen, but actually we hope that after this period we will be a country-wide program where we will do similar things as we have now accomplished in Groningen. So why Groningen? Well, Groningen actually is, I'm afraid I will actually offend a few people here in Wageningen, but it's actually the agriculture center of the Netherlands. We have really a huge area where we have numerous types of farmers. And although a lot of knowledge is here, actually Groningen is the site to be when you do agriculture. And that's also where most of the corporations are. So founding fathers of Fascinating are AVB, Koosen, AgriFirm, I forget one, Mark, help me a bit. Friesland Campina, sorry. And now new companies actually are coming in. We are not only there for the major companies, we are also there for the smaller companies where more and more actually programs are now starting up. Today I was asked to tell a little bit of the work that we are doing on the area of fibres. Actually, as a researcher, I'm doing fibre research for about 20 years. I will not tell too much about it today, what I'm personally doing, but I want to tell you that I do not believe in just consuming more fibres. You need specific fibres if you go after health. So just eating more doesn't help anybody. You have to have very specific ones. And that's actually what we do a little bit in our program as well. The Fascinating program is special in that way that we try to create a circular, sustainable food system. And we have created 4 different work packages, which unfortunately the slides are in Dutch, so I have to show them and I'll translate it. One of the work packages that we have is totally focused on healthy and balanced foods. And we try to accomplish that with sustainably produced crops that are coming either from our province, that is our preference, but if it's not there, we take it from somewhere else. We have a large work package that actually is the largest one, led by Bram Qualm, who is totally focusing on sustainable production of crops that are highly nutritional. And we do see that if we actually harvest and culture things in a more sustainable way, that it might mean that we also have a higher nutritional value, which means that we get more per kilogram from the soil than when you do conventional agriculture. The first work package is totally focused on processing. That's led by Peter de Jong here from NISO. He's also active in Groningen. And the fourth is utilizing all the side streams that we have. And today I will give you an example of a product that we feel where we have used everything just as a showcase. So I said a little bit already. It all started in around 2019 when Groningen actually stood up as a province that wanted to be a leader in the protein transition. That changed. We now do much more, and that's also why I'm here. We do a lot of work also on dietary fibers and other products that are coming from the different agriculture crops that the different types of crops that we are making. And what we are trying to do is make new products from sustainable sources. And we want to do that in a way that we also give the farmer an honest earning model. So the things that we do produce, we really feel that also the farmer should have that in his or her wallet. So why I'm actually in this session is that one of the things that I, as a researcher, always advocate is that a plant-based protein is something else than an animal-based protein. So a protein is composed of amino acids, building stones, and there is actually a basic difference between the building stones from an animal-based protein and a plant-based protein. An animal-based protein is having specific building stones, the red ones here, that are also very specific for animal-based proteins. And that's, for example, methionine, lysine, leucine, and also tryptophan. It's much lower in the plant-based proteins. And actually, we need these kind of marbles to survive because it's essential for building up muscles, for our metabolism, for immunity, but also for our mental health. So we really need them. Another item, and that's often forgotten, most people have seen nothing, they know this, but another item is that the folding between an animal-based protein and a plant-based protein is very different. which means that if the body wants to cut animal-based proteins, it's much more easy to do because it will be cut off in small building stones that the body actually can easily use. This is very different if you have a plant-based protein. It's far more densely folded. It is also glycosylated, and whatever you do, you can cut off pieces, but it will stay a little bit of a trump that actually will end up very deeply into your intestinal tract. So it travels through your body, comes into your large intestine, and that is where you, as an individual, have 100 trillion bacteria. And they like them a lot. But unfortunately, they do not make only beneficial products out of this. They can also make stuff like ammonia that are not so beneficial for you. And that is actually where dietary fibers kicks in. Because the bacteria like dietary fibers much better than proteins. So things that we do, we try to identify specific types of dietary fibers that can travel very deeply into your intestinal tract, and most of them actually end up in the small intestine, but many of them, if you make them longer or more branched, or specific types of resistant starches that we developed together with AVB, they actually come much more deeper. And they actually support the bacteria to make products that are beneficial, like short-chain fatty acids. And that supports your immune system, metabolism, and also mental health. Now, due to the lower quality of plant-based proteins and the lower digestibility, it happens that actually many of the proteins that normally do not travel further than the cecum comes more deeply into the intestinal tract. And if we now add longer molecules or more complex dietary fibers, then you will see that actually the production of less beneficial microbial products will be actually produced to a much lower extent. And that's actually what we are trying to accomplish also within our program. And that is also why fibers have become so extremely important in our developments. Well, to overcome these items, we in Fascinating try to do a number of things. We make a lot of crops, and we have found a number of crops actually that also make these building stones. And they are, for example, present in pumpkin seeds. So just to showcase the stuff that we are doing, we also make products, and we combine different crops to make a protein profile that is quite similar to that of animal-based proteins. And in this way, we try to increase the nutritional value of the things that we are making. And just to showcase, actually, the founding father of this snack is actually here. It's Mark Laus, together with Elzo de Lange. They came with this idea, and I had the opportunity on behalf of Fascinating also to contribute to that, to showcase what we have done. We have made, just to show people that plant-based can be nutritional, but also quite tasteful, we have made a typical Dutch snack, a bitterbal, out of sustainably produced crops. And we have selected crops that actually have different amino acid profiles. We have combined that, and this way we have a protein profile that perfectly fits and aligns with that of animal-based proteins. And on the outside, we have put dietary fibers, and that were side streams, for example, from the pumpkin seeds. And that actually, if a little bit of these proteins, because of the different folding, will end up in the large intestine, then the bacteria will prefer the 2 minutes, I'm almost finished. They prefer actually the dietary fiber over the protein, so that it also stays actually quite healthy. Besides that, this is showcase. We made something, and we did it together with a number of entrepreneurs in Groningen, and it's being served in many restaurants now. It also is quite nice. So these are the things actually that we are doing. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Paul, for your presentation and all the, well...
I will clean it up later, no worries.
all the things that are laying here on the ground. But actually, we will continue with all of the speakers. So I want to invite you, Carlos and Emma, to come here. So.
I will put away the scissors.
Yeah.
Grappig, hè? Even alles in mijn zakje terug doen.
In a particular order? Or?
Wherever you want to sit.
Yeah.
And we would like you to ask these experts your questions. I will go. I saw already a hand. Yeah. With this microphone to you. And maybe, Caroline, you can maybe say something.
Yeah, we already have one question prepared. Today is all about collaboration, of course. So what we would really like to know, what would you recommend us as an expert to start with when it comes to collaborations that could contribute to the use of the role of fibers in the development of alternative protein or upcycled food products? Do you already have some recommendations in mind? Difficult question.
Yeah, maybe let's start the row.
Yes, so at Mintel we operate at the interface, I guess, between consumers and the food and research industries. So our objective is to help brands or scientists, institutions successfully commercialize their great science and their great new ingredient launches in a way that means that consumers will buy the products and also that they will keep on buying them. So this is kind of the collaboration that we do. It could be that we share insight with the brands and the retailers because they obviously hold the key to a lot of success in terms of whether new ingredients get launched in products. And also we have a lot of insight available into some of the challenges to launching ingredients that consumers will perceive to be new and a bit alien to them. So that's on the front that we collaborate.
Because maybe on that note, can you share like a case in which you guys have been successful, like you said, like from the fiber perspective, like how is the approach?
I have to be a bit careful what we say because I can't reveal who we work with, but we do work with pretty much all of the big ingredient companies and the retailers, so from the start to the end of the chain. People who subscribe to Mintel, we help them to understand at market or category level even where their ingredients might be most successful and what the challenges are to overcome. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's more on the awareness and the consumer side of the value chain, of course. Yeah, Leo is still, of course, ready to raise the next question.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Rutger van Rooyen. I have a question to the panel. If you look at the whole fiber field, then you have fibers that can help reducing sugar, like inulin. You have fibers that can help reducing the fat. That's more indirect way of using the fibers because the calories go down or the sugars go down. And do you have an application, in the gut where they help as a prebiotic? So so there's a whole spectrum of utilities for the fibers. That also makes it, I think, in communication very difficult. So I don't know who can comment on that. Maybe the Mintel or maybe Professor De Vos. So it's a whole mix that also makes it difficult to communicate, I think, at the end. How do you?
I'm willing to react, but I didn't get the whole question.
Yeah, so
No, it was about the many uses of the fiber. So on one hand, it can help you reduce sugar, inulin. So then you have an effect on the sugar and the calories. Maybe you can reduce fat. You can help your story, about with the gut and the grapeseed. So I'm just saying that there's a lot of a whole spectrum of possibilities with fibers, which makes it difficult to communicate to customers.
Absolutely.
And at the end, they have to buy it. And it's just your comment or your thoughts on that. It's not a concrete question, but.
So, well, in the past 20 years, much of the research that has been done has been always on single types of dietary fibers and their specific health effects. And I believe we are now coming into a time period where we have enough knowledge to actually make combinations of dietary fibers and to tell. So these kind of lectures, I'm changing them all the time. Also when I speak to consumers, to show them what dietary fibers can do. And I try to avoid to mention the specific types, but I do believe we are now coming in an area where we have enough knowledge to make combinations of dietary fibers that have for specific groups of people. I do not believe that one size fits all, but for specific consumers, I do believe that we can make something that will work. And either on metabolism or people that are suffering from immune deficiencies, that we have something that we can convince them with that it will work.
One of the other panelists could contribute or add to that?
Well, if I can answer from my point of view, I think you're completely right. And I think that's why, from my perspective, working together with multiple partners from the chain, so not only we as a producer, but for also my customers and also the customer from my customer and, of course, the consumer, to make sure that everybody in the chain is aware of the opportunities, aware of the possibilities, and also that we start from the, as we start, that we also finish where we need to be, so that we're all aligned with each other, what we expect and what is the consumer expecting. If that answers also part of your question. Okay, good.
There is another question.
Yes. Hello, my name is Mieke Meelse. I have a question. This afternoon we heard a lot about added fiber, but I think if we listen to looked at the menu of the lady from DSM, I think there are a lot of opportunities that you don't need to add fiber if you just use more whole food. Can you comment on trends around you or opportunities about using whole food rather than adding white powders to food as additives?
I think like, if I can comment right away, so I think it's not a rather, it should be both, because like we need more. We need people to eat more fiber in general, and yeah, like we would just be able to manage that if we do both things. So that's a little bit what I like a lot. The example of the white bread, like it's something that people are used to it. So then you're just meeting them when they're just buying their white bread, instead of forcing them, but incentivizing them to change that habit, which also has to happen. But both things have to happen in order for everyone to get enough intake of fiber, from my perspective.
I fully agree.
Hi, Cesar Aslan. I have a question about the perception of fiber by the consumer. We saw that on some packaging, it's not shown. Is it because maybe consumers have a negative connotation with fiber, that digestion or something around that? Is there any findings around that?
It could be that there hasn't been so much public health focus on it as with the other nutrients. So in the UK, our front of pack is a traffic light system. It doesn't have fibre on it. Nutri-Score is obviously a catch-all, which also doesn't list out the specific nutrients. So I guess in the past, the focus has been on fat and salt and sugar and calories for very valid reasons. But maybe that's the reason why it's just because the focus has been on other nutrients, and it's spilled over into consumers as well, as we can see by our data in terms of what they think. Maybe there's a case for more focus on fiber in terms of health claims, nutrition claims, and the way it's labeled on pack in future.
Well, and I think you see already more applications with rich in fibers also on the packaging, like you showed the soy yogurt from the Nieuwe Melkboer, rich in proteins and rich in fiber. So I think it is
starting to come.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, my name is Paul Schoenmakers. Thanks all for the interesting presentations. Building on this question, I was quite intrigued by Emma's conclusion that especially in meat and meat alternatives, fiber is very underutilized or undercommunicated. Do you have thoughts on how to improve that, or what would resonate with consumers in that category? Because meat is so perhaps perceived differently from fibers.
Yeah, I guess that there are a couple of questions. One is that, does it need to be communicated? So as I mentioned a bit, is that many salt and sugar reduction initiatives aren't communicated because we know of the dangers of that. People not everybody thinks about nutrition all the time, and it can be a big deterrent. So one is if we're doing it for health and sustainability rather than a marketing exercise, there's an argument it could just be done covertly behind the scenes. I guess the second question is changing consumer perceptions of fibre, which could be difficult in a category. Meat and dairy alternatives do struggle already, I guess, in many ways from a perception perspective, be it taste, nutrition, health. So it can also complicate the message further at the present time, I think, if we start also putting fibre out there in a category that consumers are already very unsure about the nutrition of. Yeah.
Yep. I just wanted to add that, like, if I would be a meat alternative producer, I would definitely just focus on taste and texture, just to keep it simple. And then the fibers would be a plus. And then for the consumers that are interested, then you can always look for it. But I would not communicate it.
Hi, Harold from Utcon Royal Haskoning DHV. It's nice to see that you're doing a lot of consumer research and that companies want to know what customers want. But in the end, all these companies that are producing our food, don't they have a should be not, how do you say that in English? Should we not be demanding that they actually care about what we're eating? So they should make healthy products in the first way instead of putting a lot of sugar in it. Just make it healthy. And so turning it out instead of that we're doing always consumer, and the consumer wants this and that, and maybe they want to buy fiber or no fiber. It should not be a question. They should make just normal healthy products that we should be eating. How do you guys see that?
I think it would have to come in at government level. So in the UK, we have the HFSS regulations, and at least then it's a level playing field. Because I guess it's like with the ban of plastic bags in the supermarket, nobody will be the only one to do that, because it will probably damage them. The other thing, I guess, is a bit like with the meat industry, is it's, in terms of profits and things, it's good to shift to a less consumption but better quality model. So consumers spend more, well, the same, but on higher quality. So I don't know if that can be applied to other products.
Yeah, and I think if I may add one thing to that is, I think also in terms of, from my perspective, if we talk with our customers about healthier products, so adding clean proteins, fibers, they also have to sell it to the retail. And if the retail says, okay, fine, nice product, but the cost price for us is too high, then you also end up with zero result in that. So that's why I believe in combining parties of the chain, sit together, okay, what does the consumer want or need, and work together with and retail and producing companies and ingredient companies and maybe even research companies to all together come with a way to deal with. And that could be motivated by government solutions as well as the retail self.
Hi, I'm Jora Stenis, nutrition scientist working for Herbalife. Thank you for the chat and the talk. My question is, we did see a protein trend, and now many companies are enriching their products with protein concentrates, which are not so sustainable, as you might know. Are you afraid that the same will happen when a fiber trend will come the next years, or are we covering that by using all waste streams?
Yeah, I think all natural ingredients. I mean, concentrate, I don't think concentrate is in all cases that bad. Isolate, I would associate more with processing steps and less close to nature. But I think when you see multiple examples like today, fibers of cacao beans, or what you thought, and from my perspective, the fibers coming from lupin hills, it's sustainable, it could be local, it's clean label, it's natural. If you see it on the packaging, lupin fiber, I don't think it's associated with high processed ingredients. So yeah, but I don't think any one of us can look into the future and see how it evolves. But I don't think in terms of fiber it will develop that way.
Yeah, and in this moment we're far away from there. And there's a big potential from a lot of side streams and byproducts that we have. So there's quite some room still there to grow, let's say.
Okay, let's go to the last question already. Sorry.
Yeah, Mark Arts, Green Food 50, quinoa. I have a question to Paul de Vos about the fascinating program. You said you are looking for new crops, but do you also have a way to support growers in your area to shift to these new crops?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we get them involved, and in some cases they actually can get a part of the grant as well. So there are specific programs that have been developed in Work Package 2, where the different types of farmers can actually attend and will be paid for. Yeah.
So that's stimulated, actually, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. We have 5 minutes left. We just want to share some news and info about events the last 5 minutes. But of course, we want to give a big hand of applause to the speakers. And we also have a little gift for you. So maybe you can come back after the 5 minutes before you go to the drinks and collect your, well, let's say,
super
gift from us.
Small bag of circular cookies.
All right. Let's see, Caroline.
Yes.
Because we have...
we have some last remarks and take-home messages for also the next moment of Circular Drinks and Bites networking moment.
Yeah. And some of you have, in preparation of the session, given us the information that you want to meet a specific person. So we call this the matchmaking part. And in front of the office of Foodvalley, you see 3 tables. And there are 3 time slots that you can meet the person that we have matched you. So please go to the tables in front of the Foodvalley office. Of course, you can also collaborate, have a drink, introduce yourself to the others during the drinks and the bites.
Yes. And then we have some last nice announcements about upcoming events and meetings.
I will do it very briefly.
Yes.
From the protein community. You will share your information about the upcycling community. Next month, the protein community is co-founder of a big event. It's called Plant Forward. If you want to join this event, you can buy your tickets with 60% discount via the code from the community. So if you use this code, you can come to the event. We will also host a session from the protein community about true value. So not only about sustainability, but also on social aspects, etc., that you can use into your business case. On the 23rd of April, we have a Meet the New Partner session. Please register for that via the website. And on the 13th of May, we have a big event like this, but only for the protein community partners in Noord-Brabant at Huibrechts. And it starts with a great tour through the plant, 10 hectares, with robots, machine learning, and AI that they use for producing the blended mixes they do. And you can also register via the QR code. And on the 15th of May, you are also involved in that, we will have the kickoff of the program Redesign Food for Value. That is organized by Foodvalley together with EIT Food. 8 partners of the community, and I saw already some of you are here, will join that program, and still 4 of them are in the registration process. So maybe 12 of you will also be joining this great 2 years during program. And last but not least, there is a mission to Japan. Some of you have already seen many invitations about this, but if you are not going, but if you have questions about Japan or specific companies, come to me, because I will join this mission to Japan. We will meet several companies in Japan active in alternative proteins. And the second part of the program will be a presentation on the World Expo, where I will also present the Dutch protein map. So we'll also present all of you to all the international attendees.
A lot of nice opportunities, I would say. Also some last opportunities to share with you that we will organize for the upcycling community. There will be a Meet a New Partner meeting in May, 7th of May, where various new partners of the upcycling community will present themselves. That's an online meeting. Next to that, we will have a live meeting at the location of our partner Kiko in The Hague, where we will organize a really nice co-creation workshop focusing on new product development versus reformulation of food applications, working with more upcycled ingredients. More about that later, but we would really like to already invite you to register. If you're not an upcycling partner yet, please come to me and we will talk further. And then I think it's the moment to announce the next part of our program, the Circular Drinks and Bites networking moment. It will be held on the other side of this building, the ground floor opposite to this stage, where you can meet various partners of the upcycling community, Pacheta Cacao, Green Spot Technologies, of course, the team of Green Coffee, the team of Café Inc., the team of Magie Creations, and Saledo, with various nice circular tastings. So go there. There are also info boards where you see the share of fibers, where you see also the source. So a good conversation starter to follow up on.
And if you go over there in 1 minute, you can also participate in the Wheel of Protein. There is a wheel with 8 trends that we have defined beginning of this year. And the person who gives the right answers can go home with a goodie bag full of products from several of the partners that are here. So I would like to challenge you actually to spin the wheel and to answer 3 simple questions. So I think we are done. So maybe you can show the rest of the team who is here, that you can connect. Susan is over there. She will manage the chat. Mirjam, where are you?
She's currently supporting the upcycling partners, and she starting up the tables there.
She was the time manager. Jeroen will not be here. He is at another meeting with a big retailer today. So if you have questions, please come to us or come to the panelists. Thank you very much for now and hope to see you in the drinks and the bites. Bye-bye.
Thank you.